Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and really get to the core of impactful ideas.
Hmm.
Today, we're tackling a book that, well, it hasn't just taught people about money, it's genuinely shifted how millions see wealth itself.
Yeah, a big one.
We're talking about Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. No, this isn't your typical, dense finance text.
No, not at
No, it's
all.
much more about mindset. And our mission today, we're going to unpack its core lessons, the really surprising bits, drawing from a detailed review so you get a clear, concise picture.
And what makes it so compelling right from the start is this narrative framework he uses, the story of his two dads.
Right.
You've got his poor dad, that's his biological father, highly educated, worked for the government, very traditional view of money.
Okay.
And then there's the rich dad, his friend's father, less formal education, but, incredibly wealthy because he thought about money completely differently.
That contrast is everything, isn't it?
It really sets up all the key insights.
And it leads straight into that first big idea, the difference between working for your money
Mm.
versus having your money work for you. I think most of us, well, we're taught to get a job, right? Trade time for a paycheck.
Yeah, that's the standard path.
Kiyosaki basically says that's the trap the poor and middle class often fall into.
Absolutely. And it's more than just a different strategy. It's a whole different set of habits, a different way of thinking.
How so?
Well, instead of just focusing on earning that salary,
Hmm.
the rich mindset, as he puts it, is about building systems where money generates more money.
Often passive.
Like businesses, investments.
Exactly. Building businesses, making smart investments. The focus shifts from active earning to passive generation, from being an employee to being an owner or investor.
Okay, so that's the philosophy.
Hmm.
But where it gets really practical, I think, is this distinction he makes between assets and liabilities. He makes it sound so simple.
It is simple in concept, but profound in practice.
An asset, he says, puts money in your pocket. What does that actually mean? Like examples. Sure. Think about rental properties, bringing in monthly rent, or stocks that pay dividends, or maybe a business you own that turns a profit even when you're not actively working in it day to day.
So it's about cash flow coming in.
Precisely. Consistent positive cash flow.
Okay, and then the flip side is the liability, something that takes money out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it gets a bit controversial, right? Because things we usually think are assets.
Yeah, like the family home. He argues that if you've got a big mortgage, high property taxes, constant upkeep costs things that drain your cash every month.
It might actually be a liability.
It could be, from a pure cash flow perspective,
Yeah.
especially those hefty monthly payments. That's his point.
So the core insight there is rich people buy assets.
Poor people buy liabilities they think are assets. That's the trap. We value ownership, but Kiyosaki says, no, value the cash flow. Is it fueling you or draining you?
Which kind of naturally leads to his point about financial education, or rather the lack of it.
Oh, definitely.
He argues pretty strongly that schools train us to be good employees, get that job.
Right.
But they don't really teach us how to manage money, let alone build wealth.
And that's a huge gap. It's really a call for self-education, for you, the listener, to take control. The book pushes you to understand things like tax strategies, how to legally minimize taxes, keep more of your money working.
Not just pay taxes.
Right. Understanding different investment stocks, bonds, real estate, how they work, how they generate returns. Understanding cash flow, not just your income, but your net income after everything goes out.
And risk.
And managing risk. Hugely important. How to take calculated risks without betting the farm. These are the building blocks that, well, traditional schooling often skips over.
He also digs into the psychology of it all, fear and greed.
Powerful motivators.
He suggests fear keeps people stuck in jobs they might not even like, fear of losing that regular income, fear of the unknown.
Yeah, the security trap.
And then greed, or maybe just keeping up with the Joneses, pushes the middle class to spend more as they earn more. Bigger house, nicer car.
Constantly upgrading the liabilities, basically, instead of acquiring assets.
Whereas the rich, in his model,
They learn to manage those emotions. They don't let fear stop them from investing or starting a business. They don't let greed drive them to overspend. It's about learning, calculating risks, and consistently investing based on principles, not just feelings.
So what about having a job? Is he saying jobs are bad?
Not inherently bad, no. A job provides income, stability. The issue he raises is relying only on that job, believing it's the only way.
Ah.
That's where this idea of a business mindset comes in. It's crucial,
You
meaning actively developing other income streams. Maybe it's a side hustle, maybe it's dividend stocks, maybe rental income, building those passive sources so your financial well-being isn't tied solely to your active employment.
making money work for you. Back to that core idea.
Exactly. Designing your life so you're not just working for money.
Okay, let's step back and look at the book itself. What are its real strengths? Why did it resonate so much?
Well, first off, the language is incredibly simple, very direct. Anyone can pick it up and understand the core message.
Yeah, it's very accessible.
And it genuinely does have the power to shift your thinking about money. That's huge. Plus, the examples, especially that rich dad, poor dad contrast, they're really memorable, inspiring even.
Mm-hmm. It definitely hits home for people feeling stuck in the job cycle and wanting something different, maybe more entrepreneurial.
For sure. It's great for sparking that initial mindset shift.
But it's not perfect, right? What are the weaknesses or criticisms?
It's definitely not perfect. The main
Uh-huh.
thing is, it's not a practical how-to guide for investing. You won't tell you which stock to buy or how to analyze a real estate deal.
It's more philosophy than strategy.
You could say that. Some find it more motivational than actionable.
Yeah.
And, changing your mindset is step one, but it's not enough. You still need the knowledge, the skills, and you absolutely need to take action, consistent action.
Right. Just thinking like a rich person doesn't magically make you rich.
Unfortunately not. It takes work, learning, doing.
So, wrapping it up, what's the big takeaway from Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I think it's really about understanding money, not just earning it, learning its language, how it flows.
And that maybe a job gives you security, but wealth comes from something else.
Yeah, wealth comes from making money work for you, from owning assets. It argues that developing that smart relationship with money is absolutely essential if you want to become wealthy.
It sounds like, from our review, it's a fantastic starting point, especially for beginners.
Absolutely. A great foundation for shifting how you look at your financial life.
So here's something to think about then. If Rich Dad, Poor Dad likes that fire, gets you thinking differently, what's the very next step you could take? What specific knowledge or what practical action bridges that gap between just having the mindset and actually making tangible financial progress?